It is Wednesday, the 6th of March at approximately 7:04 p.m. And I'm Jim Cameron. I'm calling to order the organizational special meeting of the Darien Board of Ethics. As past chair, I'm going to chair this meeting until we elect a new chair. So first of all, I want to welcome our only new member who's in attendance tonight. That's John Vesey.
Uh-oh.
John, welcome to the Board of Ethics.
Thank you.
The other new member, David Bain, could not be with us this evening, and Jan Raymond, who was with us as an incumbent member, also was not able to attend. So we're down to just 3 out of 5, but we have a quorum. So, first item of business on the agenda is the election of officers. We need a chair, a vice chair, and a clerk. Are there any nominations for chair?
I nominate Jim Cameron.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any other nominations for chair?
No.
Hearing none, may I have acclamation to elect Jim Cameron as chair?
Aye.
Aye. Yes.
Great. Wonderful. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You are welcome.
Nominations for vice chair. I would like to nominate Beth Pope.
Well, I would second that. No problem.
Great.
Okay.
Any other nominations for vice chair?
You okay with that, Beth?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
Thank you. Hearing no other nominations, may I have a voice vote on electing Beth as vice chair? All those in favor?
Aye.
In favor.
Thank you. It's unanimous. And we need a clerk.
You know,
John.
I would volunteer. However, I got put on the zone planning and zoning there, and I'm the clerk for that. So I don't want to well, you don't meet much, do you?
No, it's not
No.
it's not a job involving heavy lifting, as you'll see when we get to the minutes of our last meeting.
Yeah, okay.
John, would
All
you be
right.
willing to serve as clerk?
Absolutely.
Great. Is there a second for that,
I second.
Beth? All
Thank you,
those in
Beth.
favor?
Well,
Aye.
Okay,
Oh,
excellent.
great.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. We'll help you in, it's, as they say, not a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah.
Next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of our last meeting, which was August 28th. I
Wow.
distributed the minutes. We were a little late in turning them in. I don't know what happened in that regard, but as you can see from the minutes, we met to handle a case. We met it in executive session and came back out of executive session and determined that we voted to not accept the complaint because it did not meet our criteria.
Okay.
And everybody was in attendance except Barbara Thorne, who recused herself. We were also joined by Patty Gage, who was an attorney from Wayne Fox's office. May I get a motion to approve the minutes of the August 23rd meeting, 2023?
Could I
So
do that?
move.
Yeah. Or Beth could do it, either one.
All those in
I move
favor?
to. Aye.
Yeah. All those in favor? Good. That sounds like
Yeah.
we passed that
Yeah.
one.
All right.
That was 2023. It was not 2024. I will correct that. That was on the agenda. Okay. Briefly, because we are in public session, and this is one of these rare times when we meet publicly, I wanted to just briefly talk a little bit about how our process works. And I'm going to do that by sharing a screen here to show you the website for the Board of Ethics as found on the town website. Can everybody see that okay, where it says Board of
Yes.
Ethics at the top? Okay.
Yep, got it.
If anybody wants to know how the Board of Ethics operates, all you have to do is to go to darienct.gov, and in the search box up here, upper right-hand corner, just type in Board of Ethics, and you will be taken to this page.
Okay.
It lists our members, and it also lists the town's code of ethics and the Board of Ethics process of how to file a complaint. I think the most important thing for people to realize is it's a two-step process. If you file a complaint, the Board of Ethics will meet as soon as we physically can do that, and we will review the complaint with the complainer, the complainant, and the person that is being complained about in executive session. This is almost like a kind of a grand jury process in that we're trying to determine if there is cause for action to go further.
Okay.
So we meet in executive session to review the complaint, determine if this is something over which we have jurisdiction, and only in that case would we then go to a public hearing process and hear everybody out in public, and then vote to decide whether or not we want to take any action. The code of ethics, I think, is definitely worth reading because it is very limiting as to what our jurisdiction is as a board of ethics. I have been on the board of ethics off and on for like 8 years now, and we have had, I don't know, maybe 6, 7, or 8 cases over those 8 years, none of which passed the qualifications of us having jurisdiction
Oh, wow.
over the complaint. So we meet, and we meet as often as there are complaints, but we're not very visible because unless we get into that public hearing process, there is no reason for us to be out there in public. The reason, I'm going to stop sharing here for a second. The reason that we have this first private step process to evaluate the complaint is we want to make sure that nobody is using the Board of Ethics as a bully pulpit to make allegations against somebody,
Right,
which
right.
would be aired in public, which didn't necessarily have any merit. So the jurisdiction that we have, as listed on the website with the Code of Ethics, is mostly dealing with financial malfeasance. Somebody took a bribe, somebody accepted a gift, somebody had a conflict of interest. They did business with the town while they were in a position to vote on certain matters as well, too. And none of the cases that we've heard over the many years I've been on the Board of Ethics actually dealt with that. It was other kinds of complaints. And I can't go into the details of those because those were held in private session, executive session, and we decided that they were not matching our power and jurisdiction.
Okay.
So some people get frustrated because they come to us with all manner of complaints, but they may seem to be ethical, but not ethics as defined under our code of ethics by the town.
Okay. All right.
So anything Beth, you've been on for a few years, anything you want to add about this process that I didn't explain?
Well, yeah, I think the other thing that can be done, but I don't know that our Board of Ethics has ever done it, is like can give advisory opinions. So like they just did in Greenwich. If there is a town employee or official who wants to run something by the Board of Ethics before they take a board seat or what have you, the Board of Ethics can provide an advisory opinion on that. But
okay.
But I think that's the case, Jim. Is
I
that
believe that's correct.
yeah. Yeah, that's the only thing I can on the top of my mind,
Yeah, but nobody has come to us asking for an advisory opinion on any of these sort of things.
No.
Usually, kind of like after the fact that people
Right,
complain
right.
about behavior, not in anticipation of that. But as we're doing with this meeting in public, this is one of these rare opportunities to explain what the Board of Ethics is and how we operate, in the hope that people who feel that they've been done wrong, shall we say, understand the process. And we're one of perhaps several lines of recourse that people might have if they feel they have a particular complaint. So that's our process. Any questions, John? I mean, you looked at the website and looked at
Yeah,
the code.
just one question. Is it usually someone bringing a complaint against someone who's on a committee or an officer in the town, or could anybody, put in a complaint?
Well, anybody can put in a complaint,
okay.
but unless it
Well,
deals
yeah.
with an elected or an appointed official or financial malfeasance, our limited scope of jurisdiction.
Yeah, yeah, I
Uh,
read,
It
yeah,
doesn't go anywhere.
yeah, okay, just curious.
I mean, we're
It's open,
not
yeah,
Judge
okay.
Judy. This is
Yeah,
the
all
Board
right,
of Ethics, and
Yeah.
the reason we don't meet very often is we don't get a lot of complaints. And we're happy to hear complaints. We had 2 complaints last year, which
okay,
we are going to discuss in a moment in executive session because they are still private. But
okay,
we had 2 complaints last year. There have been years where we've had no complaints, but we want people to understand that, we're here to hear complaints if they are legitimate. But I tried to revise the website last year when I was appointed chair, elected chair, to educate people before they go through this process, to save them time and frustration, and to save us a little bit of time as well too.
right, right,
So I could list 100 different things that we might hear complaints about that don't have jurisdiction, but I think it's better just to say, okay, here's what the rules say, here's where we have jurisdiction. If your complaint doesn't rise to this standard, we're not going to be able to help you out.
okay, all right. Jim, could I interrupt for a minute?
Sure.
I had made a prior commitment to get my daughter to class tonight. I hate to do this. Could I leave the meeting a little early? I'm really sorry.
Absolutely. We can do that, and I can talk to you offline if you would like, and just
Okay.
brief you a little bit on the cases that we
Yeah.
heard last year that we never acted
Okay.
upon.
Beth, I'm sorry. I
Don't
told Jim about this before, so
That's okay.
if you don't mind, Tricia's in the background yelling in French, so I'm in trouble.
So I will take that as a motion to adjourn.
Oh,
Do I have a
okay.
second?
All right. I second it.
Beth seconds it. Okay. Thank you
Jim,
all very
thank
much
you
for
very
attending.
much. All
Okay,
right.
good
We
night.
stand adjourned.
Thank you,
Okay.
Beth.